Good morning, students. In the chapter of reproduction and flowering plants, we are going to actually discuss about the type of sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, and in plants, the sexual reproduction is by the reproductive part. There is a reproductive part, and the reproductive part is the modified stem, which we also call as the flower. It could also be called as condensed shoot. In the previous video, we have seen the structure of flower. Just as a reminder, what we have drawn. So, if we draw a flower, there will be a base of a flower which we call as receptacle or thalamus. So, this is the receptacle or thalamus, and to this receptacle or thalamus, there are different floral parts or holes which are connected. The innermost one is like a swollen base, and that having a tip like this structure, which we call as the female part or the pistil, where this surface becomes the stigma, the stigmatic surface or the stigma, and this long slender structure is called as the style, and this swollen base is called as the ovary. And then next to it means we are drawing the parts of a flower from inside to outside. So the next structure which we will be seeing here will be like this. Let me draw some parts here and then some parts here also on either side. This will become the male reproductive structure, which we call as the stamen, and group of stamen is called as androecium. And this completely forms the female part, which is called as pistil, and the group of pistil is called as gynoecium. Now next, from inner to outside, so the next outermost hole is a brightly colored structure which we call as petal, and group of petal is called as corolla, and next to it will be a green colored small leaf like structure which we call as the sepal, which is the outermost hole of the flower, and group of sepal is called as calyx. So these are the different parts of a flower, and the flower which we have shown here is a bisexual one. The outermost is calyx, group name is calyx, single individual is called as sepal. Then the inner to it is corolla, single is called as petal. Then inner to it is the male part, which is stamen, also called as androecium in group, where this upper surface is called as anther, and this long slender structure is called as the style, the filament, and the innermost one is the pistil, group is called as gynoecium. And if we try to show that it is a modified stem, so how to confirm it? So in order to show that it is a modified or a condensed stem, what we do, we draw a shoot. Right, so the characteristic feature for a shoot is that it has some nodes and internodes. So suppose these are the nodes and internodes, and this will become the apical node. So the apical node always develops into the pistil. The next one will be developing into the male part, that is androecium. The next one will develop into the petal, and the lower one will develop into the sepal. And if all these will get compressed, then it will be called as condensed, and this is condensed shoot, which forms the flower, the reproductive unit or the structure of a plant. Out of these, the outermost, the sepal and the petal, they are accessory structures. They help in the process of reproduction, and the essential parts are the pistil, which is the female part, and the stamen, that is the male part. Now, in next part of this tutorial, we are going to study about the detailed structure of the male reproductive part. So the male reproductive part of a flower. The male reproductive part of a flower is the stamen, and if we draw the stamen, so this will become the structure of a stamen. Generally, it is drawn